Hi everybody, welcome to G for G here on YouTube. I am your friendly neighborhood host, Peter Griffin, here with another episode of What Really Grinds My Gears. Actually, no, it's me. It's just still Napalm Don. Sorry, no more celebrities on the channel. In this last 24 hours of PvP Season 32, it's time to have a little bit of a discussion on what is going on towards the end of this season, because it has been spreading like wildfire amongst the Marvel Avengers Alliance player community. We're seeing it, we're talking about it online chat, we are talking about it in Facebook groups, it's making it out into the forums. First, a little bit of backstory. Prior to Season 31, Playdom went and said, alright, we're getting inundated with the cheat stuff over here. We're hearing about it constantly. We're hearing about everybody cheating higher up the ladders, and people's defenses are taking a beating by these cheaters that are creating I win situations. And they're logging in and they're seeing huge negatives because their team was not attacked by a legitimate player but by a hacker. And then in turn, when that person goes and attacks and runs into a cheater's defense, you go through them like a hot knife through Swiss cheesy toilet paper. Well, Season 31 came around and people largely said, you know what, it was a lot better this season. Some cynics, me included, said no, there were still a few things going around, but in large part, the cheating had been fixed. And those who monitor the cheating communities have said they're doing nothing but complaining that they can't get their cheats through the system. So it looked pretty good. With the advent of Season 32, cheating is back, and it is no better than it ever was before. And as a matter of fact, worse. It seems as if the cheaters got pissed that their hacks were not working for a little while, and now they're back in force. I was alerted by one of my Facebook Marvel Avengers Alliance friends in the beginning of August. Hey Napalm, check this link out. It is to a YouTube video that shows you the hacking in action. It was done in August. It was done in this season. This was not a past video. I believe the language being spoke was Portuguese. So I don't know if it was a Brazilian or not, but it was certainly not American or European of any nature. But basically, it was a person showing the hack in action. Once again, single target damage was being splashed out as AoE, and win scenarios were created even if the person lost. So, not being able to understand Portuguese, I could only follow along with what was happening on the screen. And there was a point on the video where he deliberately let his team lose. He was just like recharging to get his ass pounded on. He lost, but then the game said he won, and he got his points and everything. So clearly the hacks were back. And as August wore on, especially as we got into the teens and the 20s of August over here, people are seeing more and more cheaters in their defense. And we're running into cheater defenses on attacks. Now, I want to show you an example of somebody that I pointed out to Playdom, and I got a non-canned answer from a member of the support staff. I don't want to give away her name because I don't want to create that scenario in which people report cheaters and they get Melissa, and Melissa's like, canned answer, but they heard on the video that Lisa from Napalm Dawn responded. By the way, these names are fake. These are not the names of the people I've spoken to at Playdom. I'm protecting their privacy, and I'm not trying to create a situation where people complain that one support agent does something and another support agent doesn't. We've obviously seen that scenario earlier in the season where one support agent gave one of my Marvel friends money back for the purchase of a bruiser suit, but Kingfisher infamously did not get any kind of a return whatsoever. I don't want to put Playdom in that situation, so I'm withholding the name. However, I reported this guy today because I lost 17 points to him. AOD iLab, or AO Dilab over here. So, one of the first things you will notice about cheaters this season is the big gap in standings, rank levels. Diamond to Ada doesn't happen. It doesn't happen overnight. People's PvP in this game is a progression. You have some silver seasons. You break out and get some gold. You hit that gold diamond border, maybe you do get diamond. Then all of a sudden you're in vibranium. Maybe you hit adamantium a little bit that season, but you finish in vibranium. You probably have a few vibraniums in there, and then finally you start getting Adas. You get the borderline Adas, and then you push. It's organic. It's evolution. You don't do this. And you don't get adamantium in your second only season in history. Look at the gear. For missions, he's running the Kevlar's jumpsuit, and I mean, what? This is what I was attacked by. Bruiser's power armor, Swift support, the Wub Wub cannon, the satellite support, the Butcher's blade, no 5th slot. Heroes? Yeah, 17 heroes. Armory? Decent, but he doesn't even have the 6th page open up, which means even if he had a decent armory, he's still 6 times whatever behind me. And his defensive team is that. So, I reported this guy, and I heard back from Playdom asking for screenshots, but look at this. 530 and 49, a ratio of almost 68%. So that's another way of finding out the cheaters this season, is they tend to have ratios 65% and higher. The other thing that you will see with cheaters this season is a gap in their seasons. And let me see if I could find... I may not be able to find one of those examples here, but I have reported them. It's where you see season 18, 17, 18, 19. Well, this might be an example. Yeah, okay, here's kind of an example. 21, no seasons, then 28, 29, 30, 1 chapter. I mean, okay, this one is borderline, but I don't think this is actually a guy that I reported, but he kind of gives a good example of some of what is going on with the cheaters. The big gap in seasons. What we've noticed in a lot of the times in which people are cheating, and we go through this on my Twitch chat almost daily, you'll see like 18, 19, 20, 30, and then up. There's been a lot of suspect things this season, and there have been certain things that are a common thread amongst the people that we're seeing as cheating. Here again, 1 chapter, 27, 28. So this one's probably legit. But look, gold and then suddenly adamantium, and you can't blame the psychic set for this. Not back at 30. I mean, the psychic set has made pretty good players out of people who shouldn't be that good. Now, that one's borderline. I'm not necessarily going to call that one a cheat, but it shows some of the examples of what the cheaters have had in common. 27, 28. So this guy, probably legit. Now, at first glance, you're like, oh, wow, Doombringer in that generalist suit? But then you come here, you see Bruiser E3, some of the psychic set. That's legit. But I have been I never report people because I just kind of, here again, 1 chapter. All seasons, though. Guy's pretty legit. Infiltrator, Vortex suit, Spirit Blade, Staff. So that's legit. Only the 1 chapter is a little bit odd. But I've reported several people this season because Playdom needs to know about it. Alright, this one's a bit more organic. This is probably somebody who isn't a cheater. 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. He's bounced around a little bit, but he seems to be getting there. This is organic evolution of a player. You know, a few chapters. I'm a little surprised that I lost to that tech suit and this gear, but you know, it's It's possible on that one. But there are, I mean, a lot of the cheats this season tend to have a gap in the seasons that, oh, I just won on defense. Nice. They have a gap in the seasons that they've played. Their heroes probably don't compare to yours. And even though their armory is good, their hero bonuses are garbage, and their gear is going to be a little bit weird. Playdom hopefully is going to listen to us this season. I've encouraged people that run into this to report them, because Playdom needs to be aware that these issues are occurring again. Now, I was just recently in a conversation with somebody about cheats, exploits, bugs, and hacks. Let's settle this once and for all and explain the difference between all of these. A hack is an external program that modifies game data at the code level. That is what people use when they are hacking on offense or cheating on offense. They run a hack that is installed on their computer and modifies the game data in which a I win scenario is created. In other words, they win even when they're losing. Or it creates the scenario where Quicksilver does millions of damage instead of his normal amount. Or it creates the scenario where single target damage splashes as AoE. That is a hack, sometimes referred to as a trainer. It is an external application that looks in Firefox or Chrome's data for the game data, modifies it against the laws of the code, and sends invalid data back to Playdom servers. And apparently I've lost. God, the volume. That is what a hack is. This is another example of Playdom failing. They said seasons ago, we're going to work on the whole like AFK heavy defense attack scenario where you're getting attacked constantly. Cheater. Yeah, okay, great. We got a cheater right here on the video. Perfect. That's amazing. Thank you for feeding me a fucking cheater. Look at this. Vibranium, adamantium. I was attacked by an assault rifle, the wub wub, the heroic charge. No. 20 heroes. Yeah, this guy's getting reported too. I mean, I will flood Playdom with all of this stuff. I'm going to screenshot this and have it ready. But I'm so glad this actually happened during the video because this is a cheat. I mean, he doesn't even have full ISOs in his suit. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But, okay, thank you. Thank you for RNGesus feeding me this while I'm actually doing a video on it. But even if we knife through the defense, I mean, the guy's level 128, just like this guy at level 129. I mean, come on. Anyway, a hack, like I said, is an external program that modifies game data. Hacks go back to FPSs and everything like that for years. Unreal Tournament 99, Unreal Tournament 2K4, hacks for things like aimbots, trigger bots, wall hacks. Those are all external things that modify game data in a way that the game cannot do natively. Bugs and exploits are different. For example, a bug. Cable and his eternal dance animations. Loki when he goes invisible. Those are bugs. When Grit plus the Elite ISO was creating 5, 4, 3, however many drains you were getting, that is a bug. If you run that, you're exploiting. Not Cable or Loki, but if you ran like Elite and Grit, you were essentially exploiting. What is not a bug? Kurth and Scudum. It's an interaction between being unstunnable and the Elite ISO. Playdom has obviously known about it. They've never fixed it. They've never declared it as a bug. It seems to be intention. We may not like it, but it does not seem to fall under being a bug or an exploit. Obviously, Grit plus Elite was a bug that was exploited. the Fantastic Fix way back in the day, which may have been the reason for the Angel season, I don't remember, that was an exploit. The cosmic shielding when we first got free actions, and the fact that people could sit there and spam it for an eternity because it wasn't draining stamina and it wasn't consuming turns, that was a bug that people exploited, but it was not a hack. Oh, where are you? It had didn't it have arcade? Was it right here? No. I might have passed it already, but... Is it 9 where it showed up? Yep, there it is. This thing, the challenge mode version of this, was one of the first free actions we got. It didn't have the 1 round cooldown. You could slap that on a defensive agent and they'd use it, and the attacker would be forced to refresh because they're never going to win. That was exploiting a bug. Beta Ray Bill, Electro, the Thunder Hammer, that was a bug that was exploited. So people who ran those on defense, they're not hacking, they're exploiting bugs. You can't hack on defense. You can cheat, you can be shady, because honestly cheating is a very, very broad term, but there is no way to make a defensive team do what a cheater's offensive team does. I mean, you could stack things like the Thunderbolt Glove and Elite and Grit and maybe like make huge Mega Drains back in the day, but that's not a hack. That's exploit. The other thing that seems to be going on is people complaining about agents getting in and out of tech suits and doing weird stuff. That isn't a hack. It's a visual bug. It's not even really a game bug. It's a visual bug. What is happening is when people on defense get into one of these tech suits, something weird happens. They do an action as an agent. They seem to be graphically getting into the suit, but not. The suit appears, goes away, and in that second that the suit shows up, it looks like the agent is carrying in one hand a submachine gun and a very, very thin sword that I don't think actually exists in the game for us to use. Graphically it's there, but I don't think it corresponds to an actual sword or dagger. So they have like a submachine gun with a dagger sticking out of it at the angle of like an antenna on a car. But then the suit goes away and then the agent's still sitting there but bald. That isn't an exploit. It's a bug. It's not a hack. It's not a cheat. It is a visual bug like Invisible Loki and the cable dance animation. Stop thinking the person is up to something when you run into that on defense. It's not. However, there is definitely cheating going on this season. That is for sure. Are there any bugs that people are exploiting, like the Electro, Beta Ray Bill, Thunder One, or the old Fantastic Patch, or create unwinnable scenarios due to that? Not that I know of. People often refer to the GG Prototype Cosmic Energy one. That's not actually one I experienced or remembered seeing. I think what they're saying is that the GG Prototype fired infinitely. In my Marvel brain of brains, it makes me think that maybe it was something with rebuff not allowing the cosmic energy to be consumed. So you get up to 4 or 5 stacks of cosmic energy, even one. You fire it, it's supposed to consume it, but then it didn't, so it just kept shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting for free. That obviously, that we know that's definitely fixed. That can't ever happen again because now it's a quick action. So you fire it once, it consumes it. If you fire it again, that's the end of the turn, no matter what. Even if you have 22 cosmic energies, it's only going to fire twice, tops. But that's not one that I ever experienced, but I do remember the Victor, I keep saying Victor for that. I do remember the Electro Beta Ray Bill Hammer one. Never really ran into the patch one, fortunately, but I've lived through a few. I don't think we have any of those this season. So, there you go, guys. That's what's going on at the end of the season. That's the difference between cheating and hacking and then bugs and exploiting bugs and everything like that. People are saying Back for More has been very buggy this season. Yeah, it's buggy, definitely. There are ways of defeating Back for More that are legit. There are ways of shutting down what defeats Back for More, believe it or not. I have a lot of people saying they've watched an entire team get Back for More and then their team doesn't get Back for More. I don't really know all of what does that. I do know one of the things that defeats Back for More. I use it. Spitfire is generally the key to it, by the way. But yeah, there's definitely screwy stuff going on in this season. At the end of the season, we're dealing with the cheats. But when you are on attack and you face somebody on defense, they cannot be hacking. There is no external program at stake at that point in time. Hacking occurs on offense. Bugs and exploiting bugs is what occurs on defense. There you go, guys. I will see you on Monday for the stream in the last few hours of PvP. And then I'll be back on YouTube with a PvP season wrap-up video. See you, everybody.